think you have to be willing to fail constantly every day. Had I had YouTube then and been able to watch Rick's channel, for example, or Tim Pierce, you know, like, I think that would have been my teacher. If you're gonna learn one thing in terms of music theory on the guitar, it should be triads, in my opinion. Like, I call it the oh shit moment. Like, play a guitar and go, oh shit, this is good. If you're someone who wants to get into doing what I do or content full time, you have to understand that, like, the only sustainable way to do this is to get your income off of YouTube as much as possible. Nice.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, it's been a long time coming.
It has been.
It's been really a journey, and it's great to finally see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me here.
We are very excited to have you. Everyone, Dinesh here from the Gibson Gear Guide, and I'm sitting with the one and only Mr. Rhett Shull.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. Here in Nashville.
Yep.
Earlier, you were here, going through some guitars. We had some stuff coming out of the custom shop that we had you look for the first time and kind of play through some things. You know, it's interesting. I want to get right into a couple of things that I've noticed. You know, usually I'd start with, how'd you learn the guitar? You know, and what would you do, like, you know, coming up as a kid, and what was your first band experience and all that. But I feel like the audience knows you so well at this point. You've got a huge presence on YouTube, and I know that took some time to build.
Mm-hmm. I started in 2018. My New Year's resolution for 2018 was to hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. At that time, I was still, working for that band and commuting back and forth. I just got married, and I've known Rick for a long time.
Yeah.
And by that time, late 2017, 2018, his channel was already like blowing up. So I knew someone who had like found success in it. And I've always been like obsessed with YouTube. It's my favorite thing to watch, even to this day. And so I started making videos in 2018. It took 2 years, and I hit 100,000 subscribers right before NAMM of 2020.
Wow.
And then I remember that NAMM being like the biggest one ever, supposedly.
Sure.
And it felt like, oh man, 2020 is going to be a big year. Jesse, the artist I was touring with, had a big year lined up. We were going to go out with Gary Clark Jr. and the Black Keys and do a big West Coast tour and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then the world stopped.
Then the world stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about this, it's something that we don't talk about too much because, we're usually talking about gear and playing, which we'll get into, of course. But I mean, really, the YouTube game, how much time were you thinking that, like, on a weekly basis, or were you putting into the channel, dude?
It's hard to say those first few years because I was still on the road. So I was kind of just like working on YouTube when I could fit in time.
Yeah.
And then once the pandemic hit and I was forced to just go full time with it, I would say genuinely 50 plus hours a week.
Full time gig.
Every day.
Yeah.
And I still work on it every day. I mean, there are no days off. I genuinely feel like it's the greatest job you could ever ask for. It's really hard. It's a ton of work. It is a job, but I mean, like, technically I'm at work right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, with the few years that we've been doing it, it's kind of been like one of those things where like you do have to kind of learn as you go, because you have to like kind of watch how stuff performs, grab that data, and then like move on. But like, what would you say is like, have you found like how long did it kind of take you to figure out what worked for you and your channel?
I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
I think you have to be willing to fail constantly every day in big ways and small ways. I think it's honestly not too dissimilar from being a musician and trying to make a living as a musician. Like you have to be comfortable with failing, getting stuff wrong, spending a ton of time on an idea that is going to work and it's going to be the thing, and then it completely falls flat and bombs. And then the thing that you put almost no effort into is the thing that blows up, and you don't understand why. And it is like being a musician or an artist.
Well, it's like putting your song out there, I guess. Huh? It's
the
same kind of thing.
It is like that. In fact, some of my friends in the guitar YouTube space, we talk about that. Like, it's every time you release a video, it's kind of like you're releasing a single, and you hope it does well. You put a ton of work into it. Sometimes you put as much work in terms of time invested into a video as you would like a single. And when it works, it's an amazing feeling. And when it doesn't, it absolutely sucks.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like, I guess you could look back at what you have released versus what you want to release. I mean, is there just times where you're just like, this is what I want to shoot?
Oh yeah. Even I don't make any videos that I am not excited about making.
Cool. That's great to hear.
And that has meant sometimes that like working with brands or sponsored videos or talking about a piece of gear, that I've gone down the road and even started the video and then thought like, actually, this doesn't work. And I've had to have that conversation with brands and be like, actually, guys, sorry, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Either the idea is not there or the piece of gear that they sent out is not up to snuff. It's not something I would actually like recommend a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, then it's not,
about it.
And like you're not real to yourself, and it's not coming across genuine. Yeah, I get that. What were some of the things that growing up that you really gravitated towards when it came to applying it to the guitar?
Oh man, well, I didn't grow up in a musical family at all. Like no one in my family plays an instrument or does anything
Really?
musical.
Okay.
And I found guitar when I was, I think, 12 or 13. My neighbor across the street, Mike, got a guitar. He was a year older than me, and got really interested in it then. The moment for me was hearing Red House, the Jimi Hendrix.
Great.
I had my Walkman CD player in the back of my mom's car.
Yeah.
It sounds cliche, but it's true. Like I remember exactly where I was when I heard that for the first time, and I didn't know anything about Jimi Hendrix or blues or rock guitar at all. And just thinking like, holy shit, what is this?
Right.
Asked for a guitar. At first, my parents said no, because I had taken saxophone and stuff in elementary school and like didn't connect with it. And they were like, we're not going to get you a guitar. You're just going to sit there and collect dust. And then I think it was Christmas Eve of that year, my dad was out doing some like super last minute shopping, and they had gotten my sister a guitar. It's like student model classical guitar. They were going to get her lessons and do the whole thing. And my dad saw like a $75 Strat knockoff starter pack thing at the store he was at. He's like, well, I'll just grab this. So they both have guitars and it's even. And my sister never touched her guitar once, and I haven't stopped playing since then, which was like, I don't know, 2001 or 2 maybe. So yeah, I got into it then. And then all through like middle school and high school, I was never good at sports, never good academically, never good in school or anything like that. But guitar was the one thing that I had that I kind of got good at. And I was totally self-taught, never had a lesson, which looking back now, I deeply regret. I wish I would have had a teacher early on, mainly just to show me what to listen to. Because again, this is the early 2000s. This is pre-YouTube, pre-social media and everything.
Sure. There's some tab books out.
Yeah, there was. You had like ultimateguitartab.com and you had iTunes and stuff like that. But for finding new styles of music that like my friends didn't listen to or my parents didn't listen to, that was hard. I really didn't hear jazz for the first time until I was in music school later in my 20s.
Where did you go to music school at?
Atlanta Institute of Music. All throughout that time, I was just playing guitar mostly by myself. And I forget where I had heard about AIM. I think I'd maybe seen a TV commercial or something in high school. And one day I was like, man, I want to go to music school. I want to do this. And so, yeah, went and took a tour of the school with my dad. And at that point, like, they weren't really convinced, you know, after barely graduating school and failing out of college. They were like, I don't know about this music school thing.
Right.
But I signed up for lessons, got through the entrance exam, and got a student loan. And they helped cover part of it. But their whole thing was like, no, you have to do this. Like, if you want to actually play music and go to music school, like, you have to own it and do it. And so
Right.
I did. And went through the program at AIM, got out, and have been playing pretty much basically full time ever since in different, like, you know, areas, whether that be teaching, gigging, touring, YouTube videos, all that stuff. So
That's interesting. You know, you mentioned a couple of things there, and I think this would be a good time to talk about, like, advice to a new player coming up. Sounds like you want to talk about private lessons or someone to guide you on something.
yeah, I think it's
Like-
different now.
Mm-hmm.
Had I had YouTube then and been able to watch Rick's channel, for
Okay.
example, or Tim Pierce,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I think that would have been my teacher. Not that a YouTube channel can replace like an in-person teacher. I still think that that is the best way to learn music, is to have someone like working with you directly.
Yeah. They can sit there and physically, like, move your hands and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
or just, again,
Or,
like
you know,
like see where you're directly at, and then
real-time feedback.
tell you what to do and tell you what to listen to, which I think is the most important thing, like
Mhm.
figuring out what to listen to. Well, YouTube can do that. I think it's different these days. If I was talking to a new player,
Yeah.
someone who wanted to come up and like make a living in this world, I would say listen to as much music as you can in as wide a sort of spectrum as you can.
Mhm.
Don't just listen to guitar players.
Get
Don't just listen to
vocabulary.
guitar music. Listen to everything, and then diversify. Don't just learn guitar. Learn how to produce. Learn how to write. Get a DAW and learn how to mix. Learn how to edit. Learn how to shoot videos or edit videos or do content. Like, I think now, if you're going to earn a living as any kind of creative person, you have to be diversified. You have to have multiple skill sets that you can spread across different income streams and earn a real living that way.
You know, growing up in the like 90s and 2000s and all that, you were learning your instrument, and you probably learned recording, whether if you had a recording machine or if you Pro Tools, you know, coming out and all
Like a
this stuff.
Tascam.
Totally, right?
424,
So
yeah.
like you were at least wearing those two hats.
Mhm.
And then of course at that time it was more about like, well, you know, who's making flyers and who's promoting shows and
Yeah.
all that. And then, you know, with the rise of the internet and YouTube and everything, like you said, yeah, you know, be able to create that content, a little bit of video editing, a little bit of understanding of video, a little bit of understanding of the platforms that you're using. I totally get that. That's a good point. Now, with the learning
Mhm.
also comes the learning of curation of gear.
Yeah.
And you've gone through a lot of gear on your channel,
Yeah.
whether it was something that you kept or something that you were reviewing or just checking out or comparing.
Yeah.
We tend to find out that comparisons do really well, right? Because then you
Mhm.
can kind of like, you know, see which one's going to work for you. What would you recommend, and what's some things that have worked for you when it's come to purchasing or making decisions on gear that you actually buy and keep?
Well, it varies. It depends. Sometimes I'm looking for a piece of gear to fill a role or a need. Like, I just bought a guitar a few weeks ago because I had like a specific thing. We're going on this trip and I needed something small
Oh,
that
okay,
would pack into a small space.
right.
And I could practice and work on, because I've got some stuff coming up next year that is like, I need to be working while we're on this trip. And I didn't want to bring a whole guitar in a case and a gig bag. So I bought a Strandberg, physically, just because it takes up less space.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that part of
Yeah.
it. The other part of it is like more of the emotional thing, specifically around guitars and amps to a degree, but mainly guitars, because this is like, you know, this is what we're interacting with, you know, this is what you're making music on.
Yeah.
And for me, I can't point to one singular thing across all the guitars that like stands out to me, but there's a moment where if you pick a guitar up off the wall and you strum it and it just, whatever it is, speaks to you and gives you that, like, I call it the oh shit moment. Like, you play a guitar and go, oh shit, this is good. All of my favorite guitars have had that in common. Pick it up and play it unplugged, you know, without an amp. And if it rings, if it's resonant, if I can, I mean, this Les Paul is doing it right now. Like, I can feel the neck and the body like really resonating. It's loud. It's projecting really well. I can tell this is a good guitar. And so if you're starting with a good source, then everything else you do after it is going to be that much better.
Yeah.
You know, but more importantly, you're going to be more inspired playing it. And that's different for every player. What I like is going to be different than what you like, or anybody watching this video is going to be completely different, you know?
I mean, I've been guilty of bought a few guitars just based on the way they looked.
Oh, that's huge,
know?
man.
You know?
I tell people, because I have a lot of beginners or newer players that watch my channel and they get so lost in the weeds. Sometimes I see it in my comment sections, or I'll get DMs about like, hey, I'm thinking about this guitar for my first one. Which one has better pickups? What do you think? My thing is, which one do you like the look of the best?
Mm-hmm.
Because especially as a new player, if you like the way it looks and you leave it out on a stand in your living room or your bedroom or wherever, every time you walk by that guitar, you're going to want to pick it up and play it because it looks awesome.
100% agree. Yep.
So just buy the coolest looking one and then play. And then as you learn and you develop and you want to get a guitar that does this thing, and then you want to, oh, I've got a gig now and I need this kind of guitar, then you can kind of go deep.
You're right. And then it's a tool for the trade.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. I mean, if it's visually inspiring, and then of course, is the feel there, and then of course we need to hear the sound. We know sometimes sounds can be manipulated with switching out pickups and electronics, but you know, I've never been like a huge modification person unless it was something that I bought with that purpose in mind.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you know what? I just need this type of guitar. It's a couple $100. I know if I throw some things in there, it'll get the job done, kind of thing. But I'm with you. Like, it's got to be an instant thing. Even with the pedal or an amp, you know, same kind of thing. But a lot of it does kind of filter out from here.
Well, and the interesting point to that I always want to get across is that feeling is not correlated to any price or level of quality.
Mm-hmm.
I've played, you know, Epiphones that do that thing, just like I've played super high-end Murphy Lab, custom shop, whatever stuff that does that thing. There is no like direct correlation to amount of money spent and quality of tone and feel and inspiration. Like that comes down to you and what you want out of the guitar that you're playing.
I guess somewhere in there, the stars align.
Yeah.
With whoever it is. Because I know, like, you know, a lot of times with like the Murphy Lab stuff is going to have that binding roll or that neck roll a little bit more than a custom shop will, and more than a standard model and all that. Now, one of the things that you brought up earlier, and we were talking a little bit about the YouTube channel and all that, you know, people, I think sometimes think it's easier said than done. And I think we kind of look at touring versus money made off of music versus monetizing your videos on YouTube, right? Where do you kind of stand on all of this kind of thing? Because I know you're touring as well. You do that. You do probably do session work, of course, and then you're doing your videos.
Yeah.
You know, where do you think most of that's lying right now with a lot of the musicians out there?
It's hard to say. I mean, I haven't been on the road pretty much at all since 2020, but starting next year in 2026, I'm going to be back out with a band that like I haven't announced. I can't say who it is or what it is yet, but so I'm going to be getting back into the touring stuff next year, which I'm really excited about. So for me currently, like from a business side, my income basically is all derived through the YouTube channel, but not YouTube directly. That's a common misconception is people think like, oh, you just make money off of Google. Like people watch your channel and they pay you. It's like, yeah, that's part of it. But I think if you're going to, you know, if you're someone who wants to get into doing what I do or content full time, you have to understand that like the only sustainable way to do this is to get your income off of YouTube as much as possible. Like I don't rely on Google or YouTube because it's so unreliable as a partner. You know, your AdSense goes up and drops on a month to month basis. So That's why I make video courses and do all kinds of other stuff, is to be able to like earn a living for all this work that we put into it. But for musicians today, I think it depends on what you want to do. If you're someone who wants to be a touring player, you want to be on the road at the highest level one day playing for the biggest acts, I think you pick Nashville or you pick LA, you move there and you just get in the scene, you get to know people, and you start taking gigs and doing that really well. If you're not someone who wants to do that, you don't want to spend 100 plus days a year on the road, there's a lot of other ways to make a living in this industry, in this world, that, you know, vary from playing full time to working for a company, or, you know, building a following online, or being a teacher. Like there's so many different ways to do this, to play guitar for a living, you know?
Yeah, because I think, like you said, you know, YouTube is like the vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can have all these branch offs from that. Right.
But I think for YouTube specifically, like I don't encourage most people to try and start a YouTube channel. You have to be obsessed with YouTube in some form or fashion, I think, to be successful on it. Because it's really hard.
Let's say someone's like, well, I watch YouTube all the time. That's all I do is watch YouTube.
I mean, that's where I started.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching YouTube constantly because that's a place where I go. I like learning stuff, not just guitar stuff. I'm just like, I have ADHD, so I get a ton of dopamine from just learning all this different niche type stuff. And YouTube is a gold mine for that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it starts, because yeah, if you have to be familiar with the medium that you're trying to be successful in. Just like, again, if you want to be a touring musician, well, you have to know the game, so to speak.
Right.
You have to be present to win. If you want to be a full-time songwriter or an artist or producer, like you have to go to where that stuff is happening and be present in it. And YouTube is the same way. So I've had this conversation at this point with dozens and dozens of musician friends of mine who've asked me about starting a YouTube channel. And when I tell them what it takes, it's not their expectation.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Because of the amount of work.
Yeah.
And there's a consistency, right?
I like to boil it down to, if you want to be successful on YouTube, you need to be prepared to work 40 plus hours a week making stuff that no one will watch and that you will not get paid for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it can happen way faster than that, to where you can monetize your channel and like get it to be a full-time thing, or it can take way longer than that. But I think that's like a good sort of rule of thumb based off of how long it took me and other people that I know. It's like, yeah, be ready to work at it full time on top of whatever else you're doing, with no views and no money for 2 years.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that definitely makes sense, because it's just going to take that long for that channel to grow and get into the algorithms and like circulate and all that kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah. Also too, like being a musician, you don't want a bunch of people watching your first videos. Like my first videos are not on my channel anymore. I took those down years ago because they're horrible. Just like when you're first starting out as a guitar player, you don't want to play Wembley Stadium when you're
as your first gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want that many people hearing you
Yeah.
on stage. It takes a long time to develop the skill set, and it takes a lot of repetitions. You have to make a lot of videos. You have to play a lot of gigs.
Right.
To get the comfort and the feel and to look comfortable on stage, or to feel comfortable in front of a camera. Like it takes a long, long time. So yeah, the first year, like you almost don't want people to see your work.
That makes sense. I can see that. And then, you know, when they do come in, you've got some polish.
Yeah.
Totally. A lot of people nowadays play by themselves.
Yeah.
Probably more than they ever had before.
Most of what I'm doing now is by myself, like in a room in front of a camera.
And sometimes, you know, with the backing track, sometimes we're making our own compositions and playing. But I think I want to go over something real quick that we were doing in the beginning. You know, a lot of times when we do these jams with artists that come in, we don't work anything out. We kind of just jam and we just, you know, shoot from the hip kind of thing. I want to kind of talk about playing with two guitar players.
Yeah.
Because you do this a lot and I do this, but sometimes I've been victim of like forgetting that there is two of us.
Right.
and not necessarily getting caught up in the soloing and like not hearing to come back and forth. But I kind of want to talk about that, what we were just doing, and then chord voicings.
Okay.
So in the beginning, you know, I think we were doing, what was it, a B minor?
Yeah, it was this down to G, and then walking down to E minor,
Yeah.
back up to B minor.
Cool. Now I know for audio we're gonna try not to talk and
Yeah,
play
yeah.
at the same time, but so interesting because first off, you know, we were trying to do something where we were leading up to a melody to make like a verse because there's no vocals happening, right? So I think one of the things that we were talking about was like if you're in that B minor, then I've got to go.
Right.
Kind of trying to complement the other half of that chord if there is something, you know.
Well, I think you just want to be cognizant of what the other guitar player is doing in terms of the voicing, but also where they're at on the guitar. Like if I'm playing this one down here, just that standard triad, that B minor triad, I wouldn't expect you to do that voicing that you just did, that like...
No, because you're already there.
Yeah, I'm already there. Instead, you could do like simplify it, play less, which is a good rule of thumb for guitar players in almost any circumstance. Play like you don't have to play all six. That voicing is not, to me, that's not as cool in a certain situation as like that or... So right there, like being able, this all boils down to triads. If you're gonna learn one thing in terms of music theory on the guitar, it should be triads, in my opinion, because you can do so much. You can use the idea of triads to branch off to so many other areas in terms of theory or harmony or ideas. Like right there, I'm picturing just as we're playing, you know, B minor to G to E minor, all of those voicings are right here, you know, B minor to G to E minor.
That's right.
But again, I'm not going to play the whole voicing. I'm going to try and pare it down and simplify it as much as possible. So if I just focus on like these top three strings, that'd be like a B minor. And then to go up to G, all I'm going to do is go, right? And then to go up to E minor, then I'm going to go, right? And that's it. That's the whole progression. So other than that one bum note that I hit, like that's an example of like, now you're playing off of each other and building something greater than what either one of us can do by ourselves. Because we're not a piano, like we only have access to 6 notes at a time maximum. But doing that, like we can spread across the different registers and create like a much bigger thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like kind of looking, and you know, ear is one thing, but you know, if I see someone going low, I'll go high, and then we'll, you know, even just hearing what I heard right now, it's like, well, then I don't even need the other notes in the.
Yeah.
You're already handling those strings, so it's like, okay, well, let's just stay in that, you know, in that more root note position. Yeah.
Another thing I like to do in that situation is if we're in a key where I can utilize the open strings, like open voicings, is to just play like, you know, think of a scale, like the B minor scale, but on one string with an open string underneath it. So if you play the same progression again, I'll do kind of like a melody idea, but while trying to outline the voicings.
Sure. 2, 3, 4.
Something like
Like it.
that. Blending like a chord voicing or rhythm idea with a melody idea is one of my favorite things to do. And then, I mean, you throw some delay and reverb on that, and then, off to the races.
That's great. Very simple. And again, yeah, the triads, just getting to know, even if it's just a couple of places where these chords appear again.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I like the droning with the open string. Really nice trick to fill stuff up with. Because a lot of times you when you're first starting off too, you might just be like, well, I just want to get through the chords.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're both playing the same chords, and it's like cool, nothing. Maybe of course with vocals on top, it kind of it's more forgiving.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've noticed where you're playing with someone else that does have an ear and has played before with other musicians, where it's like immediately it becomes well, let me help you out with this.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite thing to do as a guitar player. I really love playing I love playing songs above all else. Like, which sounds simple, but I'm not a virtuoso guitar player. I'm not a super athletic, I'm not an impressive guitar player at all. I am someone who, above all else, I want to play to the song. And if the song calls for a really simple, just picking part, that's what I'm going to play.
Yeah.
And if it calls for something that's like more fast and shreddy and articulate, I'm going to do my best to do that thing. But like being in a band on stage with other musicians, all sort of like working towards the same goal, which is trying to get the audience to like connect with something and feel whatever it is that we're doing, that is above all else. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool to there's a lot of guitar players that are into like just playing guitar, and that's what they want to do. And they want to get super fast, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's not my approach, I think.
Right. No, I hear you. You're coming more from the songwriting aspect as well. Do you find your approach live versus like studio work relatively the same? Because you're still, see, for you, it's interesting because you're also creating video content, mm-hmm. which also has to be just like recording.
Yeah.
So I think when I met guitar players that were like producers, their playing was different than guitar players that were getting hired to come play on tracks. Is it kind of the same thing for you, would you think? Because you're looking at the bigger picture of how this might be when it's finished.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, I think that is one way my perspective has shifted since I started making the YouTube videos is I see things differently now. Like, I see how things are going to line up on a timeline, like in a DAW or in a video edit. I know how like the audio is going to work and like being conscious of stuff. And I think that does bleed into how I play, whether it's for a YouTube video or on a record, which is why I think it's important for musicians now to be versed in some kind of creative thing that's not just their instrument. Again, whether it's producing or mixing or writing or engineering or whatever, because when you can understand other parts of the process, like it takes way more to make a great song or great record than just a cool guitar sound and a cool guitar solo. There's so much more that goes into it.
Right.
Not even just the recording process, but the writing process and the mixing and the production. And if you've experienced that, like I put out an EP last year, and most of that was just so that I could experience the process of like, okay, I have these songs, and now what do I do with them? Like, how do I put them out? How do I distribute them? What do I call it? How do I promote it? Like, I'd never done any of that stuff before. And I just wanted to learn what the process was like.
Exercising that.
And it does change your perspective. So if you're someone who's a guitar player and you're interested in like some of these other things, yeah, I think you should dive into as many different aspects of music and making music as possible. I think you should explore.
That's definitely true, especially now.
Oh yeah, it's so easy now to get into this stuff and learn about it.
I mean, it's pretty, again, with the YouTube and everything else, it's just like, look at all the gear.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the applications for it. I think there was a time where it was like more gear than applications. And then now I almost feel like it's even. And there might be in
terms of like
what you're doing with it.
Oh, right.
Because it was almost like at some point it was like, well, we're hoping to play live, or we're hoping to go do a jam, or we're hoping to go to rehearsal. Now it's like, well, now we've got content in there. And then content's broken down into shorts and into like reels and into full length videos and the clips.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, which I think I want to be careful to say that, like, I don't think every musician needs to be striving to make content. I don't think you're any more or less valid as a writer or musician or guitar player if you have 100,000 followers on Instagram or 10 followers. I honestly don't really think that matters that much.
Yeah.
All that shows is that you know how to create content and play the algorithm.
And you've been putting energy into that.
Yeah, that's all that means. It doesn't mean that you're any more or less legitimate or viable as a musician.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of friends of mine who are incredible players that like do not care about social media and YouTube or any of that stuff at all, which, to be honest with you, I kind of understand now. having like been through all of it and built the channel and everything, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's great. I love it, but it's not maybe all it's cracked up to be a lot of the time.
Sure.
You know?
Which a lot of us wouldn't know because we're only seeing it on the other side.
Yeah, it is still the best job I've ever had, but it is a job.
A job.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you do 40, 50 hours like you were saying.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Speaking of technology, what are your thoughts on the industry? We had a couple of things that, we were talking about earlier. You know, a need for tube amps, a need for the software versus like amp into pedal boxes. And of course, like AI, like thinking about how that kind of folds into what we're doing. I mean, it's definitely a tool, but do you see, has there been any advantages with you? Like maybe it's video editing software or.
Oh God, no, not yet. That's what I need AI to do. It's like,
just edit the videos. Yeah.
No, not even that. I just need AI to like, I want to just import my video and import my audio and have it just stick all that. You know how much time I spend aligning audio and video clips?
Putting it together,
it's
right.
Hundreds of hours of my life at this point have been spent just like looking at waveforms.
Nudging. Yeah.
It's awful. But of course it doesn't do any of that stuff yet. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with the tube amp thing, I think, so I'm a diehard tube amp guy. I love tube amps. I have a great collection of tube amps. And for me, every time I have the opportunity to use a tube amp live, that's what I'm going to choose to do. But I think tube amps are becoming more like film in photography or like vinyl, where there's going to be a diehard following, people like me and you, they're nerds for this stuff. And like, I'll hold on to my tube amps forever because I love that. But digital amps, modelers, plugins, pedals, like these are the new norm now. I think young guitar players coming up today, a friend of mine, he's well known in the gear industry. His son is like, I think 14, playing guitar now. He's like, yeah, he's never even plugged into a tube amp. And this is a guy that has everything and it's all at the house. Like this kid could like go and play some of the best stuff. He's like, yeah, he just plugs into his laptop because that's what he and his friends like. That's just what they want to sound like, and they don't really care about that stuff. And cool, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, again, if you're making music, you're making something cool, you're saying something, expressing yourself, it doesn't matter what you're using to do it with.
Right. It's an experience to play through a tube amp.
Oh, it is
for sure. I mean, even here in the room, you feel it. The strings start vibrating, and there's like feedback and stuff associated with it.
To me, like the core sound of an electric guitar is the guitar and the amp together in the same space, like interacting together. Like you were doing it earlier at that 330, like it's starting to feed back.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of feels like it's, I don't know how to explain it, but the best thing was it's like, it almost feels like the strings are being pulled or like it's like grabbing towards the amp kind of thing.
Well, it's like a symbiotic organism. Like when I play this Les Paul sitting next to this Mesa here, like it's loud enough that the pickups, like if I just let the guitar go, it'll start to feed back because it's creating this feedback loop. And when I play it, like I can feel the guitar responding to the speaker next to me, and that's influencing what is happening inside the amp, and it's part of the sound. I just like them. I like the smell of tube amps. I like the analog nature of them. Like I said, my wife's a full-time photographer. She doesn't need to shoot film. It's slow and laborious and hard. Her digital cameras have way more clarity and way more detail, but she primarily shoots and she develops her own film and does everything. That's like her thing. And that's how I feel about tube amps. It's just, I just love them.
And there's a vibe. There's a vibe associated. Dude, I know we're running out of time here and I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're super busy. Anything you want to leave off with that you want to push besides the tour you've got coming up? Anything to look out for on the channel, perhaps?
So yeah, I'm going back out on the road next year, which I'm very excited about. And as such, I'll be able to like, when I started my channel, I was touring and I had this video series that I called Backstage Journal. It was like a vlog series and a lot of people really loved it. And I still, even though I haven't really made one in years, I still get people commenting like, when's the next Backstage Journal coming? And for a long time, I haven't had an answer, but now I'll be able to say, yeah, starting, I think January, February of next year, I'll be able to start bringing that stuff back, which I'm really excited about.
I did see a few of those. Those are great.
Thanks, man.
Man, there's been a couple of videos that I've had to watch just to make sure I had made the right decision on some gear, man. So we appreciate what you're doing, dude.
Thanks, dude.
It's legit. It's real. You know, we enjoy your just real life take on stuff. I think even having you today was really eye-opening for us just to kind of hear what you had to say about what it takes behind the scenes to do what you do. You know, it's like you said, it's a lot of work. It's a full-time thing.
Yeah.
And man, it shows. The videos are great and we love it. So man, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
We much appreciated. It's been a long time coming, like I said, and it's really great to chat with you and a lot of stuff off camera as well that was really cool to talk about with you. Everybody, Dinesh from the Gear Guide, and again, Mr. Rhett Shull himself. Should we do a little jam to maybe take it home?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Thanks again, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah.